All right, I got a quick video here to help if kids are having trouble with their homework. I don't have a lot of time because they're coming back from lunch. But here's a coordinate grid. You have your x-axis, that's horizontal. You have your y-axis, that's vertical. Where they intersect is called the origin. And that point, that ordered pair is 0, 0. Upper right-hand quadrant is quadrant 1. We use Roman numerals. And we go counterclockwise. Quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4, IV. If you have a smaller Roman numeral to the left of a larger Roman numeral, you subtract. So 5 minus 1 is 4. And now I have to label the x and y axis. I did that, the 4 quadrants, and then I have to K. So I go over to elevator 10, I go up to floor 2. So 10, 2, and that's in quadrant 1. And then L is right here. I go over to elevator 11 and I stay at floor 0. That's not in a quadrant, it's on the x-axis. So I write x-axis. M is right here. I go to elevator -6.5. That's x, that's first. And I go down to floor 8, -8. And that's in quadrant 3. When your x and y are both negative, you're in quadrant 3. N is right here. I go to floor -2, and I go to elevator -2, and I go up to floor 5. That's quadrant 2. O is right here. I go to elevator 2, up to floor 7. That's quadrant 1. And P, let's see, is right here. I go to elevator 0 and down to floor 2, -2. So that isn't a quadrant, that's on the y-axis. I have to plot 3 points. X is at -4, so I go to elevator -4, and then floor -7. That's right here, and I'm gonna put an X there. Y is 0, so I stay at elevator 0, and I go to 7.5, and that is Y. Oh, by the way, X is in quadrant 3, and here Y is on the y-axis. And then they're coming, I hear them. And then I have Q is at 6, so I go over to elevator 2 and floor -2, and that is Z, and that's in quadrant 4, IV. Here I want to simplify expressions. I remove parentheses with the distributive property. 2 times 2n is 4n, plus 2 times 4 is 8. Drop this down. Combine like terms, 8 plus 8. I like to put my variable out in front, so 4n plus 16 is simplified expression. Here, remove grouping symbols or parentheses with the distributive property. 3 times 2d is 6d, plus 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2 times 5d is 10d, plus 2 times 9 is 18. Combine like terms, 6d plus 10d is 16d, plus 12 plus 18 is 30. There is my simplified expression. Now I'm gonna solve equations. I have all my variables on one side, everything else on the other side. I have to divide by the coefficient 5. Whatever I do to the left side, I do to the right side. You're gonna have to come back later. The 5's cancel and I get x equals 7. I owe them candy. Here, I have all of my variables on one side, but I have to get rid of the 7. What undoes adding 7? Subtracting 7. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. And I get 9m equals 27. Last step, divide by the coefficient. DBTC, baby. The coefficient is everything other than the variable m, so that's 9. And the reason I want to divide by 9 is because I don't want to know what 9m is, I want to know what m is. And I know 9 divided by 9 is 1. But whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. The 9's cancel and I get m equals 3. Here, I have parentheses. I have to remove them with the distributive property. 3 times 2a is 6a, plus 3 times 5 is 15. That equals 57. I have all my variables on one side. I have to get rid of everything else, so I subtract 15. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. And I get 6a equals 42. And then I have all my, so that's transposing. You get all your variables to one side, everything else to the other side. Last step, I don't want to know what 6a is, I want to know what a is. Divide by the coefficient. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right, and I get a equals 7. Here, I am missing something here. Let me look real quick at, all right, so what I'm missing is, this is 3n, but I should have a 5 out in front of it. So 5 times 3n is 15n, plus 5 times 5 is 25. That equals 6n plus 21 plus 10n. Now I need to combine like terms on both sides of the equation. I can't combine n's with numbers, so that's fine, but I can combine, so that stays the same. 15n plus 25. 6n plus 10n is 16n plus 21. Now, I have to transpose. My first step is to get the variables to one side. I have fewer n's over here, so I'm going to minus 15n. Whatever I do to the left, I do to the right. And I get 25 on the left. That equals n plus 21. I have all my variables on one side. I have to get rid of everything else. So I subtract 21, and I do the same to the left. And I get n equals 4. I could plug that back into the equation to make sure it's right. I have a couple problems left. Scientific notation. Scientific notation is the product of two factors. So the product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So I put a multiplication sign here. The first factor is a number that's between 1 and 10. It can equal 1, but it has to be less than 10. In a whole number, the decimal is right here. So if I move that decimal so that there's only one digit to the left, if I move it between the 5 and the 0, my factor is I found. It's 5 and 9/100. That number is greater than or equal to 1, but less than 10. And then the second factor is a power of 10 to some power. Now, I made this arrow so it would help me find the power. Every time I move 1 to the left, it's 10 to that power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like I had my commas in the wrong place as well. So it's to the 8th power. 10 to the 8th power would be 3, 6, 7, 8. That would be a 1 with 8 zeros. So that's 100 million times 5 and 9/100 would give me the 509 million. And then here, this power tells me I move the decimal 8 places to the left to get this factor. So I have to move it 8 back to the right. The 3 would be one of the 8 places, and I need 7 zeros. And then this would be the product of those two factors. And my commas are every third one, so 430 million. And that's it. This will be the homework they receive on Wednesday. If they're having trouble with it, they can watch this video, and the test will be on Friday. All right, good luck.